A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a world where digital trade regulations can make or break international relations, the European Union is currently engaged in a high-stakes negotiation with the United States over the future of its digital rules. As both sides work through the final details of a delayed statement to formalize a trade deal reached last month, the tension is palpable. The Financial Times reported on Sunday that disagreements over language relating to non-tariff barriers are causing a significant hold-up in the negotiations. The EU has expressed concern that the US is targeting its digital regulations, particularly the Digital Services Act, DSA, which the bloc has put in place to ensure a safer online environment. This landmark law requires tech giants to take more responsibility for illegal content, including hate speech and child sexual abuse material. The US, on the other hand, argues that these rules stifle free speech and impose undue costs on American tech companies. This clash of ideologies has become a focal point of the negotiations, with the US hoping to keep the door open for possible concessions on the DSA. EU officials have firmly stated that relaxing these rules is a red line that cannot be crossed. Originally, the statement formalizing the trade deal was expected to be released shortly after the July announcement by EU President Ursula von der Leyen and former President Donald Trump. This deal had already imposed a 15% import tariff on most EU goods, a significant reduction from the initially threatened rate of 30%. The agreement was seen as a positive step towards averting a broader trade war between two of the world's biggest economic powers, which together account for nearly a third of global trade. However, as the deadline for the joint statement approaches, the negotiations seem to be at an impasse. The US had anticipated that Trump would sign an executive order by last Friday to cut tariffs on EU car exports to the US from 27.5% to 15%. However, a US official indicated that this would be delayed until the joint statement was finalized, suggesting that the negotiations are far from over. The implications of these negotiations extend beyond just tariffs and trade. They touch on fundamental issues of digital governance and the future of the internet. As the EU strives to create a safer and fairer online environment, the US is pushing back against regulations that it sees as restrictive and harmful to innovation. The outcome of these discussions will not only shape the economic landscape between the EU and the US, but will also set a precedent for how digital trade regulations are approached globally. As both sides dig in their heels, the world watches closely, waiting to see how this digital trade tug-of-war will unfold. Will the EU maintain its stance on the DSA, or will the US find a way to negotiate terms that satisfy both parties? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The stakes are high, and the world is paying attention. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.